Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, All Relations. Today we're talking all about patience. Patience. You know you're not a very good doctor if you don't have patience. I needed to start off with that bad pun because this is a topic that a lot of us need to really integrate and embody. Just, feel it through our whole system. Instead of pretending that we are being patient or it's one of our values, we're going to have to start taking the inventory of if we're truly embodying this essence as savage shamans, okay? All adepts need to know this, including myself. So I think this is an important topic to discuss. So patience is basically like having power over your own nervous system, okay? Once you understand that you're holding the end in mind, right, the result that you truly want, you wouldn't be impatient otherwise, right? If you already knew that you had the thing that you wanted, you wouldn't need impatience at all, actually. You wouldn't question things, you wouldn't wonder how fast is this coming along, when am I gonna get there, right? Because the more you do that, you're actually taking away from your manifestations because you're actually pushing it away, right? By going, oh, let me cling to it faster. Let me, I can't live without it, right? In a sense. So you become attached to that thing rather than it happening organically and, you aligning with the Tao in a sense. So I believe that the world tries to rush you because a rushed mind is an obedient mind, okay? So that means patience is actually the greatest rebellion of all time. We're not going for that instant gratification. We're going for delayed gratification, which is going to change and make things sustainable for us. So patience is actually you respecting the pace of nature, okay? If you are understanding and realigning with nature, do you notice their systems going into like a fight or flight? Nature doesn't seem to have any competition, it just has expression, right? Water clears by staying still, right? This is like the whole Buddha Lake story. Patience means better decisions because your worst regrets are going to be made rushed. Patience is also the quality that's a survival value. Can you stand the test of time? Can you be sovereign even during chaos moments? Or do you always avoid confrontation and conflict? When is it that there's a confrontation happening and you actually stand up for yourself? You stand firm on your beliefs, okay? That's actually a demonstration of patience, actually. You're not letting your anger run the conversation. You're smoldering it like a hot coal on a barbecue. Whether it's a traffic jam, a delayed train, or the slow growth of a business. You can't force it, but you can choose where not to bleed out energy. You can choose not to bleed out energy in your body while waiting. So practicing non-interference is actually a really good strategy. There's something called Wu-Wei. A lot of you on this channel already know of Wu-Wei. But for those new to this concept, Wu-Wei in Taoism is the action of non-action. This demonstrates that sometimes one of the strongest moves is to not to meddle, is to do nothing at all. Just allow time to catch up to the resonance. And Alan Watts calls this the wisdom of insecurity. So patience is almost like an exponential reward for you. Bamboo doesn't grow for years and then it explodes. This is literally compounding in finance too, right? There's no such thing as an overnight success. There's a trained success and then one night did it for them, right? So it's like you have to try to not attach so much to time. In short, I just want to say that patience is not waiting. It's like an energetic precision. So you're not delaying action, right? You're not saying just because of Mercury retrograde, I won't do this thing. You're refusing to take low quality action. And that's the true flex, right? Sometimes when I speak, you might be feeling like, whoa, dang, how, right? That hit me. Good. That's what you want to observe. That's actually a part of your shadow work, okay? So if anything I say offends you or makes you think more clinically about it, just send me a message and maybe we can dive deeper into that reaction, right? Because oftentimes you may notice that there's certain things that may not even make sense in the short term, but in the long term, they make perfect sense because you now see the full story. And that's why patience is so important, because you're not even seeing the full story yet and all the pieces, but you want the results now. Yeah, right? You want the trophy now. Be real with yourself. And this kind of lazy ambition is not really going to push you forward in the long term. This get-rich-quick mentality is going to keep you chasing and chasing and chasing. Good things take time, but time is not the God here. Attention is. Time is a measurement tool. Attention is a creative force. Very big difference, right? People who obsess over time are usually trying to bypass presence by bargaining with the future. Really listen to that, guys. Hear it again if you have to. Rewind the video and listen to that again. They tell themselves, oh, if I had more time, if it just happened a little bit faster, if I wasn't behind all the time. Do you hear yourself? That's your trauma trying to negotiate with reality, trying to stay clinging to time. I'm smiling because I had a friend actually named Time in Thailand, so it's kind of interesting. So, hard facts, right? Time is the clock on the wall. Presence is the clock inside of your chest. And when you're deeply here, insights come faster. Solutions appear smoother. Creativity becomes effortless. And connection becomes magnetic. And notice all of those things I just mentioned bypass the calendar in any way. People suffer because they think my results are going to be late. But what if nothing was late? What if the timeline is not linear, but fractal, emerging, right? Self-organizing. Then time cannot be too late. It's only your attention and awareness that can get very misdirected, right? And it's based on the things that you pay attention to. So I say don't worship time, master attention. Time doesn't create reality. Your quality of attention always does. So again, patience is a nervous system dominance. You're not just like this spiritual kid, waiting for spiritual and universal blessings to fall into your lap, okay? Waiting for the perfect divine timing. Okay, we're over that old paradigm. Oh, did you say that time is taking longer than your ego had planned for it? You've been saying all this time that time is a construct, and still you struggle to make that time, right? You say, I haven't got the time, but are you willing to make that time? Patience is an internal flex way of saying, I don't need instant gratification because I already know how the story ends. The Taoist master knows the river is doing more work than the paddlers. Or the Stoic who realized delay is refining fire. Only divine royalty, the pioneers of this new earth, can wait without collapsing into panic. So you can't force a flower to bloom before it's ready, okay? Everything has its own time and timing. However, if you start getting too attached to a construct, a man-made construct, you'll start noticing yourself show signs. You're malnourished, or you feel very sluggish in your energy, or you feel too controlling over others, or you're starting to feel like other people just make all these plans and then they expect me to just go, and then that starts annoying you. Stop trying to drag the future into the present just because your ego is scared of the unknown. The future arrives exactly when your nervous system is ready to hold it. Your structure isn't fully built to receive those downloads. Do you get it? This is not some magical delay, it's energetic alignment. Stabilize your frequency so that the future can lock into you. The game is not how fast can I make this happen. The game is how regulated, grounded, and precise can I show up so that the next level will just click into place. No forcing, no freezing, no chasing, no hiding. Moving with the intuitive impulses in a pace that feels like truth. If the path is yours, it is already unfolding. Okay? So be it. From the Nexus. Slow it down, okay? You can't miss what's meant for your soul. Write it in the comments. You can't miss what's meant for your soul. So there's no slowing down the awakening, okay? It's gonna happen on its own pace. All you can do is just be at the eye at the center of the storm, right? Be Shiva, understanding the Shakti of life, the energetics of life. We're gonna move you, push you, try to weave you, okay? And adapt you. At the end of the day, you're the final editor. You're the person who revises the final document before handing it in, okay? So understand, stay patient, because that's going to help you survive in this game for longer, especially with these threats of, world war and, societal collapses and, poverty and all these different things around the world, right, that cause stress. And the more we contribute to that chaos, the more we're taking away from our own power, our own sanity and peace. So we must first and foremost complete ourselves in our own inner journey and then go ahead and serve, okay? And when we are working with the service mentality, I think there's almost an auto patience, okay? You don't really need to force it anymore, because you just get out of the way enough so that the channel can do what it needs to do to get to the outcome no matter what, irregardless of circumstance, right? So let's get it today, Upward Spiral Gang. Till we never be the same again. Thank you for tapping in. Tune into the podcast today too. Let's win. Osa, let's dominate the spiritual world. Boom. May you never be the same again. May the flow be with you. Did I forget anything else? Upward Spiral Gang to infinity and beyond. Yeah.